everybody! It is me. We are doing art today, according to the schedule. So yeah. So this is kind of for my writing blog on Tumblr, the hell site, affectionate. Because let's be real, Tumblr may be a hell site, but it could be worse. It could always be worse. But let's get some tunes. And yeah. So this is kind of the original sketch that I made. And yeah. And I kind of refined it a little bit. But yeah. And I kind of made a shitty version of the arm here. And originally her arms were kind of meant to be in a steeple, but if I want to make it a good silhouette, I can't really do that. And I have the reference up here. So yeah. And I have a water with me, so I will make sure to hydrate. But if you think I really need to hydrate, just do the sound alert thing. So yeah. I think I'm going to I probably also need to make a 3D asset. I'm probably like also develop a color palette thingy here, like an official one. And I can kind of have that as an asset that I can like upload to the Clip Studio asset store. And of course make it free. I'm not going to make anyone pay any like money if they want to draw my characters unless I'm commissioning them. I don't want them to pay me, I want to pay them if I want someone else to really draw my characters. Like, it's kind of just, as an artist, I'm just like, only draw my characters if you want to. I don't have proper references. I don't have a turnaround sheet or anything. And then again, there is some stuff that I want to change, especially for Patchouli, because I don't have a color for her horns yet. It's probably going to be the same color as her eyes, because the contrast is big enough for me to really think of that as a possibility. And also, I probably need to like make some kind of command on Nightbot. And I'm going to check. Okay. There we go, it works. Also, I should probably turn on my overlay. But yeah, it is of course on Tumblr. And I did schedule a post that I posted like 13 minutes ago to kind of say that I'm live. Which, I mean, it's kind of funny to me. Because Tumblr is a hell site. But in an affectionate way. Also, fun fact. When Tumblr removed Tumblr Live, literally everyone celebrated because it was pretty much just only used by bots. Like, I'm not even joking. It's just the fact that nobody wanted Tumblr Live in the first place. So none of us really touched it, including myself. And when Tumblr finally removed it, we all rejoiced. Should I make her hold a pencil? I'll make her hold one. Also, because of the fact that Patchouli and several other characters have horns, I know I'm going to have to, like, use a blender in order to, like, make some other assets. And along with that, and I've tried using Blender before, but it is there is a steep learning curve. Also, I do have an interior mouse color for her, because if I go to her character profile, she canonically has a purple tongue, but also the interior of her mouth is purple. And that's partially why she kind of has a veil over her face, is when she's a minister. Because if she didn't wear that veil over her face, like, so if I go to the loading, well, technically title screen CG concepts, you can kind of see it over here. The idea I have. This was before I made her horns. Like, before I thought of adding horns to her. Like, well, not really before I thought of adding horns, more like back when I didn't know what kind of horns I was going to add. So yeah. So she is... So the kind of concept I have is that the veil is secured by ribbons. And these ribbons go... They wrap around mostly the top horn. Like, kind of wrap around here, around the base. And also over here on the lower horns for extra security. But, or probably like around here so it doesn't like fall. I should probably like look at some pens and stuff for reference. I mean, I do have some nearby. I could use those as a reference. But it's mostly just markers that I have. Do I have a 3D? Okay, there is an asset for a ballpoint pen. I am, however, going to look at this one. So there's this store that I really loved back in like 2020, like around the time I started high school. And it's kind of, so for context, in middle school I used to wear this like half apron in it to kind of hold some of my stuff that I was allowed to carry because of my IEP. And I used that to hold my Werther's Originals, which is kind of very boomer behavior from me. But hey, I like it. I like Werther's Originals, especially the hard ones. Don't take that out of context. So, yeah. And the main things I held in there were like my Werther's Originals, of course, but also my pens and stuff, like my stationery. And so it's currently in my backpack right now because I went to class yesterday. And some of the stuff we do is on paper because, you know, writing. But I have the capato, which is kind of it has two compartments, one on the top and one on the bottom. The bottom part I usually use to hold my Werther's Originals and also chapstick. And the top part is pretty much where all my pens go. And it has my smudge glove for when I'm, you know, doing stuff that involves pens and pencils and stuff, like my non-digital smudge glove, which I probably need to replace because I've had this one for like 6 years at this point. And it is kind of just used to oblivion. But the capato has my monochrome, like gray, blacks, grays, and like whites. That's kind of the color that is for this one because the capato is black. And I tend to like color code my But when it comes to like organizing my pens and markers, like my art supplies, I color code it based on the color of the case that they're in. So, for example, if the pencil case is red, there's going to be a lot of reds in that. If it's blue, it's going to be blues. So on and so forth. The only exception is my purple one because the green pencil case I have is too small for all of my green stationery. Which means I should probably, buy a new green one. That is bigger in capacity. But yeah. It's kind of like the current state of, that's kind of the organization that I do. And I have like several hundred markers and stuff. Which, it's kind of funny because I mostly do digital art now. So my, currently they're going to waste. Which is really weird. And I'm not really using a lot of my traditional whole drawing stuff. And yes, if you're wondering, are you going to make Patchouli left-handed just like you are? The answer is yes. Because I can't help myself. And I just know. Because I am left-handed. I know the left-handed experience. I could probably make this like a different color. Alright. So I might add a little bit of a wrist bump. So the thing about my wrist bump is that it is on the outside. But it's very, very subtle. Like, you can barely see it. At all. Like, you gotta, like, squint a bit. it if you want to see it. But yeah, I also have an Unveil account, which literally right as I pretty much made the profile for Patchouli, it immediately got favorited. Very quickly. And the current image I have for her, it's temporary. It's just some of the expression sketches that I made. Like, not even like full-on illustrations. They're just sketches. But I'm glad there's people that like her enough to kind of favorite her Unveil profile. Oops. But yeah, I might do a stream where I like fuck around in Blender and you know, try and make some horns for her and her sister and some of the other characters that, you know, have them. But that, of course, involves learning how to model in 3D. And my only experience with 3D modeling is in Vroid Studio, when I made this godforsaken model. And also my previous model that I used, that was basically just me. So, yeah. I just realized I should probably work on my Live 2D model, but eh. And I probably need to add like a few more recognizable traits and features for Patchouli. Like, probably like enhance, make an eye motif a little bit. Like, maybe change the buttons to have more of an eye shape. But honestly, I think the buttons probably can kind of be considered eyes. It's just that I need to add some probably like embroidery designs like somewhere else. To kind of enhance that motif. So yeah. Of course, once I kind of refine everything, and I will kind of enhance some motifs for the characters who's in their designs. Because obviously right now, I don't have like super big motifs. The biggest motif I currently have for the characters is kind of the naming scheme I have. Like the major characters are named after flowers. Like Patchouli, Fennel, Osmanthus, Lily, Dahlia, Hydrangea, and some other stuff. And I think I'm going to make a little funkier button for this. I might have to look at the sketch layer for this. Because it's probably more like this. And yeah. So I might try and like I probably need to like make some more writing for her to kind of develop her as a character. And maybe like, because I know I'm going to like words are hard. Actually, I might make these buttons into hearts, like kind of heart-shaped. Let's see. I mean, eyes are kind of meant to be circles. Like, the iris is circular. So I probably don't really need to change that part. I just need to, like, enhance the theme of, like, eyes being, like, everywhere. Because obviously there are the patches on her skin that turn into eyes. Which is very apparent on her expression sheet that I'm working on. Like, especially on this one, with the collarbone eye and the hand eye. And over here, where there are eyes kind of on her jaw. But yeah. So I mean, if I go to her outfit ideas, I mean, probably like on like the hem of her dress and the cape, I might add like kind of an embroidered eye detail, because I want to kind of connect her with the god that the church is for, that raised her, and kind of give it, like, especially for her minister outfit, kind of a motif based on that church, and like the symbols who's connected to that god, like probably like spirals, or just things that can be considered eye-like. And the church is, and I'm going to mention that I haven't really been to church in like a while. Like, the last time I was at a church for religious reasons was when I visited my dad's mom home for Christmas one time. And we don't talk about that. because my dad's mom is kind of a bad person, but that's beside the point. This isn't about her. I don't want to give her any time of day. But yeah, that was kind of the only real time I went to a church for religious reasons. Other than like my baptism. And fun fact about my mom, she was raised Catholic, and apparently Catholic baptisms, you kind of get like dunked into water when you're like older. And my mom refused to get baptized because she did not want to be dunked into the water. So luckily the Lutheran Church does not do that, apparently. So my mom, the one time my mom got baptized, it was not to be baptized Catholic in the faith she was raised in. And it's really ironic because my mom's Irish ancestors left Ireland because they were Catholic. The irony. It is very ironic. And of course, like, for the baptisms in hymns in like Patchouli's Revenge, I don't plan on doing like anything with water. Like, even though it would be kind of funny, I don't think water would make sense for certain things in the baptisms. Like, I believe there are several ways of being baptized that probably don't need water. Like, what about being baptized in the light of the sun? Or in the moonlight? That, to me, makes more sense than just dunking a child in water. Also, fun fact, apparently the Quakers don't do baptisms. Like, for their faith, because Jesus apparently, like, was baptized in water, but then John the Baptist said, like, he would then be baptized with fire. Which, baptism in fire could probably be like being burned at the stake or on a cross. You know? Like, I feel like the baptism with fire can kind of be interpreted as, like, baptizing yourself within the sun's rays, or in the light of the moon, like the light of a full moon. Which, honestly, in my opinion, as like someone who isn't really religious, being baptized in the light of the moon sounds way cooler than just being lightly splashing a child's head with water, or just dunking a child in a basin of water to baptize them. I'm in the eyes of Christ. It's just that the water thing is kind of overrated. At least in my opinion. Like, we get it. Why not try baptizing using something else? And this looks kind of good, but I think I might change this to be a little poofier. But yeah. And Patchouli's Revenge is probably going to be like a book first. Because it's probably, at least for me, easier to write a book compared to like trying to make a game. Because I plan on making the Patchouli's Revenge when it comes to like a book release, a light novel. Like, if you kind of like have a novel with like drawings used for some of the scenes. So yeah. Hmm. This makes a little more sense. I'm not sure. So, I should probably explain what this is kind of for. Since it's been like almost an hour already. But this is kind of like a character profile. Like, let me drink some water first. So, basically, for my writing Tumblr, I plan on doing like the ability to kind of ask questions about some of my characters for like specific series like of my original works. And I of course need character profiles for them. And yeah. So this is kind of like so you know what the characters look like. And like some facts that you can ask me to elaborate on. Like, why has Patchouli killed someone? Why did she do a murder? And the murder theme will be relevant later. It is, after all, lore. And eventually I will make like a proper reference, like a turnaround for the characters. But for now, you just gotta deal with this. And so yeah. And there we go. So I'm going to turn this layer off. And let's turn this. And of course the ribbon. And clean this up. And it's always good to kind of like clean up your sketches a little bit so they don't end up being like too messy and you can't figure out what the form is, you know, meant to look like. Because if your lines are really, really messy, it can be hard to kind of distinguish the forms when you're like doing the line art, because your brain kind of like cancels out the noise of the lines. This is also kind of why I'm not a big fan of chicken scratch. Because it kind of like makes it hard if it's like very, very visibly chicken scratch hatched lines. And the philosophy, thank you Windows, very cool. So the kind of philosophy that I heard, it's not really a design philosophy, more like an art tip, is to draw like you write. Like obviously you wouldn't chicken scratch a letter. You don't really do this because that makes it harder to kind of see. You do this. That's kind of the tip you use for line art. Like, draw your lines how you write letters. And I'm going to decrease the saturation of the, not saturation, the opacity of the sketches. So yeah. And I of course will make a proper color palette like thingy. And thicken these lines. Oh, hi, Sabrina. So I just noticed my cat had got on my bed. And now she's making biscuits on my long plush. You making biscuits, ever? making them biscuits. I mean, depending on how big I get around the time Patchouli His Revenge comes out, like as a game, or like before when I like make the novel versions, because there's going to be two. One that is, you know, the regular story, and another that has more not safe for work editions, so that you can kind of enjoy the story with some extra spice. Like, if you want a story. Oh, hello, Sports Watch. Thank you for the raid. Hello. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Skelliace. Yes, I am a Dragon Fairy VTuber. And I draw stuff sometimes. But hello. Oh, how are you? Right now I am working on some drawings for a story or story/video game that I'm kind of developing. And this is kind of like a character introduction thingy for my writing blog. Because it's kind of like something I need an excuse to like develop the characters anyway. And why not do that with the help of others? Yeah. Writing D&D stuff. That is understandable. But yeah. And eventually I will make some proper references if anyone wants to like draw a fan art of the characters in this little thing that I have. Yeah. I actually used to play Dungeons and Dragons. I only played it for like 1 year during my sophomore year of high school. I was the only sophomore in like a group, a D&D group of like seniors, and this was like an actual club, like a tabletop gaming club. And this was, of course, during the school year that the pandemic started, so yeah. And the DM that I had, which was one of the teachers who I actually knew before, because there's this thing called ESY/extended school year. It's basically for like, yeah, you met your fiance out of your D&D club at university. Nice. But yeah, since I was, the only student that was not graduating that year, it ended up being kind of lonely for me afterwards. And eventually the teacher that was RDM actually, also, hello Shard, how are you? But yeah, after that, the teacher that was our DM actually became a professional DM and now has his own company. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not going to say the name of it though, because it's kind of local. So yeah, I haven't really done any like D&D stuff in like years. Like It's been nearly 4 years. It's pretty much been 4 years since that campaign. And actually. So yeah. And I do have a few D&D OCs. And the one I used during the campaign had like a very convoluted story because she is kind of like considered a missing person in her like home tribe because she was kidnapped and brought to the Feywilds as, you know, a baby, like a little baby elf, and she was kind of experimented on to see if you could turn an elf from the main world into an Eladrin. So she kind of slowly turns into an Eladrin over the course of the campaign. I think that's probably like an interesting concept from my end. I mean, if you like kind of make a hybrid between two different subspecies of elf, for example, what traits would be, you know, inherited? And what traits would be lost? Like, for example, since my character in that campaign was a wood elf, slowly turning into an Eladrin, she had, like, the ability to kind of, you know, hide herself with, like, a little bit of foliage and stuff. But obviously, since she was transforming into a full-on Eladrin, she was probably going to eventually lose that ability if the campaign continued. Who'd passed my sophomore year. And obviously it did not, because pretty much every other member of the campaign, which also included my brother, by the way, graduated that year, so it would probably, so if there was a D&D club of like the year after that, it would probably be like a whole new campaign. Instead of like going from where we left off. Like a new adventure. So that was kind of the only campaign I really experienced, but it was pretty fun. And the funniest thing about that campaign is the only guy in the campaign was my brother. And he was also the only one with a male player character. And it was, of course, an orc. I just find that really funny because a lot of people think that D&D is kind of very masculine, most likely, but you'd be surprised at how many girlies enjoy D&D and Transformers. Like, it's kind of funny. Like, I saw this meme on, like, probably Tumblr or Pinterest. And it was just like, welcome to the internet, where men watch My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and girl and ladies watch Transformers. And I just find that funny. And also, the Transformers G1 actually turns 40 this year in like September. So yeah, Transformers has been going on for a while. And I haven't even watched all the new stuff or even read the comics. And I do plan on at least reading the comics probably like over my summer break. Which is also when I plan to debut my live 2D model, if I can do that in time. Because knowing me, I know I have my deadline for debut to be July 3rd, because that marks 5 years since I had my jaw surgery. Which is, it's kind of wild that it's been nearly 5 years since I had my jaw basically broken and restructured. Because of my terrible TMJ and lockjaw. And here's the thing about jaw surgery when you're autistic. It kind of fucks up with your sensory issues. Which I remember that during that year, I could barely do any assignments in my history class because it was so hard to focus with my classmates, like, basically using that period to talk to each other. So, if it weren't for the pandemic happening, I would have failed that class. And it obviously really, really sucked. I was not having a good time. Because sensory issues go burr. And I also had that issue during with my senior project class, which I honestly found kind of shocking. Like, this is our senior project class. We have to focus on, like, doing our senior project, and y'all are just goofing off and talking to each other. Like, every single quarter I had, like a shutdown. I was like, and it was all pretty bad. I had to leave school for the rest of the day. And luckily the days that I had my senior project class, which were 8 days, the class after that was just a study hall, so I wouldn't be missing out on, like, anything, you know, after I left. And I remember the first shutdown I had was in September, like September 22nd, I think. Because that was the day I went to a Skillet concert, which was delayed for a while because of the pandemic. And it was my brother and I. And he basically allowed me to call the shots when we were to leave. Which is probably the most considerate of me that he's ever been. To be fair, I literally did have a shutdown that day. And I took the day after away from school to kind of recover, and I played Genshin, and I heard that the day after I had the shutdown is when I got Kokomi. And I am a proud Kokomi main, even though I haven't played Genshin in a hot bit. Which I probably need to, because this year is when Natlan comes out, and I'd like to finish the story before, Natlan comes out. And I haven't really touched the Genshin community because I don't want to get super spoiled. Sorry about that. I just have congestion. Congestion goes burr. And the buttons are pink, just like Patchouli's eyes. And I probably also need to make a design for Patchouli's journal, because it's kind of an important plot device in the story and the game, because it's an important part of the gameplay loop, because Patchouli uses the journal to collect evidence for the mysteries. So I kind of need to make a proper design for it, like the cover. And I probably also need to look at scrapbooking as well. And this is kind of mostly for the UI and stuff, because obviously I wanted the menu to look like pages in a journal. This is kind of the idea I have. And yeah. So this is kind of the sketch I have for Patchouli's journal. And originally it was going to be a lighter pink, but obviously here it is it is the same color as her eyes and the buttons and hair. Actually, this is layer 2, right? So I'm going to move this down. Alpha lock. Actually, this seems like a good color for them. I'm going to lock this layer so I don't fuck anything up. And I will eventually change this to, you know, something a little more streamlined. And of course, her unveiled profile has some more details. Like including her alignment, because it kind of fluctuates between neutral and chaotic good and chaotic neutral. And I also need to like determine her height and stuff. And of course there's also her weight, because she kind of has a bit of heft to her. Like she's a little chunky. And of course the horns add weight. You know, unless we'll add some weight. But I plan on probably like having the bone part be a little hollow, so it doesn't like add too much weight to her head, because I'm pretty sure like having super heavy horns on your head would cause a lot of neck pain. I can merge, and that is her clothing. probably also need to, you know, so straight line. And hold on, I have a pencil that I'm going to use as a reference. And there we go. I put that away. I'm going to turn that layer off. So there we go. And I'm going to move these up a little. And probably thicken up some of these lines. And I think this is good. Mm. Hmm. Hmm. And I'm going to do the horns now, because sometimes for Patchouli, her hair, like over here, kind of drapes over her horns, like her lower horns. Ooh. And now the back. Actually, hold on. And now flip horizontal. And the line art is almost done. Now I just need to do the book. And there we go. And that's pretty much all of that. guys, hope I'm getting trimmed back. Ah yes, funky airplane noises, most likely. But the colors for this are done. I'm going to take off my cardigan since I'm getting kind of warm. I'm going to move this to that. pressed windows on accident. Whoop-de-doo. Ugh. Oh, I forgot to shade this. Oops. Ugh. Let's see if there's anything I need to clean up. Hello, Fano. Well, 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 indeed. My voice caught you off guard. Well, I haven't had my voice catch anyone off guard heard until now. At least if they say expecting more quiet. Well, that's kind of because I am usually pretty quiet, but I have my microphone turned up because it can be hard to hear me sometimes. But yes, indeed, hello there. Decide on what to do? Yeah, that can be hard to figure out. Especially if you're someone like me. Because, you know, ADHD goes burr. OMG, purple guy! He's just AOYE Orpal. That pixel has been bothering me. Hey, fellow ADHDer, hey! Yours is minor. Yeah. Yeah. Oblivious to social settings. Yeah. Oh, more obvious in social settings. Yeah. Yeah. Prepare D&D session notes? Yeah. D&D. Yeah, for tomorrow? Yeah, you can probably do that. It's good to get those prepared earlier than later. Captured by kobolds and have their pet dragon worshipped as a god? Yep, that's certainly Dungeons and Dragons. Your group is down bad? Oh god. Are they a bunch of bards? Is it just a party of bards? A wizard into being alone in his room while creating essence. A coffee warlock who never sleeps. A dragonborn who... a vampire who will suck on anyone she meets except the wizard, and the sorcerer who's an arsonist! I mean... mood. But also, yeah, that is very much down bad. That's cataclysmic. Two sessions looking for the reading material that the wizard needs. Oh god. That is just... how the fuck would I describe that? It is fucking wild. Yeah, they laugh so hard that they get teary. Oh god. So you just let them do that? Oh god. That is down horrendous. Your play group is a married couple, 2 dads, and a friend of yours. Oh god. Well, at least they're all having fun. That's the important part of D&D, having fun. So I'm going to edit some of this text a little bit. If the kobolds kidnap them, they would have no reason to leave anything on them. But you want them to at least have clothes on. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. That is just cataclysmic. Just chaos. Chaos on chaos. Okay. When they're basically naked in a dungeon. No armor. Also, thank you for following. Funnel. Also, tomorrow is going to be kind of a more special stream. Also, because it starts later in the day at like 4 p.m., which it currently is for me right now. Because I have class that day. Oh, so tomorrow my stream is going to start later than usual because I have class that day. And I usually don't stream on the days I have class. But I wanted to stream on Valentine's Day. So around the current time that it is right now in the day, that's when I'm going to go live tomorrow. Yeah. That's understandable. Yeah. I never played the Magic the Gathering. My brother does, but I haven't. Yeah. So that's going to be all the trivia I have for now. And I'm going to do this. Yeah, a few traps. Perhaps a literal booby trap. It probably just tracking and stuff. My mouth is usually closed. It's just the mouth tracking. Sometimes I kind of lose it because I'm looking down at my screen. Yeah. That's understandable. But, yeah. So, I might add some other information on this, but for now, I think I'm going to leave it at that. So, felt intimidated. Yeah. I mean, I don't have upper canine, so that's not something you can really be intimidated by for me. I just have the lower chompers. But yeah. I think I'm going to end stream now. So, tomorrow is the stream. Well, I mean, I usually don't stream like terribly long. The longest I go sometimes, like, the average amount of time I stream is like 2 hours. Especially for like art streams, because sometimes my brain gets fried quickly. But yeah, I am going to be streaming tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST, and then on Thursday and Friday I'll be starting stream at 1 p.m. EST, which is my usual time. And yeah, I'm probably going to work on my Live 2D model off stream, because I have that in the works. Like, I'm almost done with the mouth, and then I have to go to the head turns and probably do like the hair physics, which I'm going to be doing a lot of hair physics. It's going to be the thing that moves a lot with the model, because I think that even though there will be booba physics like the jiggle, I think that it would be a lot more fun if I just did most of the physics with the hair. Yeah. Go find someone to help figure out some of the traps. But yeah, I shall be ending stream now. And I'll be seeing y'all tomorrow. Bye, everyone!